Hey, welcome to Two Cents episode 57. This is July 31st,
It's
2016.
56.
What?
You said 57.
Isn't it 57?
I thought it was 56.
No, this is 57.
Is it?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow. Okay.
No, it's 57. Anyway, this is the episode titled The All Out Buyout. We usually don't have episode names until like 2 hours after we record, but I put it together this week. Anyway, this is the live undoctored news post show. As you can tell, Steve tried to correct me. He was wrong. That happens here a lot. But we're not concerned with Arthur memes, running mates, or any conventions unrelated to the entertainment world.
Guy, my God.
What? Nothing. So we do a lot here at Dollar Views besides this show, even though it's our most, I guess, prestigious. It's the one that happens the most in a timely manner. But Dollar Views itself, which is about spoiler-free stuff, we got Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Cut coming out next week. Also, Netflix's The Little Prince. We just did one for Ghostbusters. We had a doubleheader of Swiss Army Man and Finding Dory. Note here, Paul Dano is going to be making a directorial debut on something called Wildlife, which is a coming-of-age story adapted by him and his longtime girlfriend Zoe Kazan. They previously worked together on Ruby Sparks. So if Swiss Army Man is any indication of this next thing, it could be awesome. Then again, it probably won't be. But I am kind of excited that he's going to be working with her again.
No, I got faith in it. Come on.
Yeah, I hope so.
Ruby Sparks was great. I mean, I don't expect the greatest thing ever, but anything that they do, I mean...
I don't think either of them are going to be in it.
Has Paul Dano ever done anything that hasn't at least been interesting?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think either of them are going to be in it.
Oh, all right. Well, fucking talking on cell phones is horrible. But
I can't think of his whole filmography right now, but yeah, no, I don't think he's ever really had a lazy movie or like
he
something
hasn't
that he
had
didn't
like
commit
a big studio movie or anything. Like he hasn't had a Lex Luthor role. We can
with
put
good
it that
reason.
way.
He's not on social media, but usually he picks things that seem like he has some kind of personal gravitas towards. Swiss Army Man being most notable. We both bought that for $1. I'd buy that for $1. So check that one out. It's going to be on home video soon. I also guested on Tyler Marchant's Future Horse podcast this past week. It's actually called Cynical Cartoons. It was me and two other British guys. So we were talking about The Killing Joke. Pretty scathing, kind of fun, so you can go to his website right now and listen to that. It's already available for your listening pleasure, and you'll also, I'm sure if you listen to the episode, try to get you to pay money for his Patreon. Don't do that. We're going to launch ours. Pay us instead.
Come on, man. No,
I'm joking.
Help
I'm
out
joking.
one another. Come on.
It's like, okay, if we
all
make
have to
$1,
pull through for one another here, all right?
If we make the first donation we get on Patreon, I'll donate to him. Okay, how about that? I'll pay it forward. We also do Death to Cinema, though, which is our List of Shame show. We just recorded an episode for The Dirty Dozen that's going to be out on Wednesday at a time of Suicide Squad. With that in mind, my next pick, or the pick for next week, rather, is Catwoman. It's on Netflix, Steve.
Oh,
You've
my
been
God,
warned.
no.
Yep. We've also done, this film
right.
is not yet rated recently, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Heaven's Gate, a lot of stuff. We've almost a year for that show, too. So that has spoilers, and it's because those films are older. And finally, you can find us all over the internet. We're on Facebook and Twitter at Dollar Reviews. We're on WordPress, Tumblr. If you want to listen to us on the go, we're on Google Play Music, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube. We're even on SoundCloud every once in a while. Archive.org, Pocket Cat, really all over the place. But like I said, this is the All Out Buyout. And I guess, let me ask you, Steve, why do you think it's called that?
Probably, I don't know. Does this have anything to do with... Well, obviously, I'm guessing a bunch of companies are buying out other companies. I'm guessing you're going to follow through on AMC and Carmike and...
Among others, yeah.
Odeon. Yeah. And quite a few... God, what else has happened this week that I'm aware of?
We'll start with...
What was it that happened with Redbox again?
Yeah, we'll get to there. We'll start with AMC, because as weird as it is, that's like the smallest deal this week. But yeah, AMC is giving Carmike Cinemas a final chance. They raised their buyout offer by 10% to $1.2 billion, and they told them that they're prepared to walk if they don't agree this time. They've pushed back the shareholders' vote by 3 times now for over a month and a half. They're moving toward Odeon UCI. They're really trying to get their theaters going. Last week we were talking about Legendary making their Pokemon movie. They're all over the place. It's all a conglomerate, by the way. China's Dylon, Wanda Dylon Group owns all of this shit. They're crazy huge. They're in the Fortune 500 this year. The first Chinese corp to ever do that. And so we'll know by next episode if this vote goes through, I would assume. And then AMC can slowly continue to take over the cinema world one multiplex at a time. It's going to get to a point where it's just like Demolition Man, where like every movie theater is an AMC.
No. The Alamo's not going down without a final stand.
I'm pretty sure they AMC has like enough money in their pinky toe to buy out the Alamo.
Nah, the Alamo will go down fighting, man. It'll be history repeating itself.
Oh yeah, like
AMC is Santa Anna's army, and yeah, I'm giving you a bit of Texas history here.
I was talking more so about the Demolition Man. You've seen that movie, right?
I have not.
No,
I'm aware. No, we've talked about this.
In that movie, every restaurant's a Taco Bell.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of the satire of Demolition Man. At least,
you know how to use the three seashells?
Is Demolition Man is it supposed to be bad or good?
No, it's really good. It's really good.
Because I hear both.
It's like it's like real kitschy and kind of like a joke in and of itself, but it's a very good movie. Like if you like Sylvester Stallone movies of the
Who doesn't?
Like mid-90s, I'm talking like Judge Dredd type Stallone,
which I have not seen either, and I've been told to not even bother. Like,
no, it's really good. And then if
Sly is not my Judge Dredd. Hashtag not my Judge Dredd.
He is mine more so that
hashtag Carl Urban all the way.
Look,
hashtag Bones as well.
The Raid Redemption was mimicked and they made into Dredd. But anyway, if you like
Dredd is a badass movie though.
If you like Wesley Snipes being an over-the-top villain, then you're gonna love Demolition Man just for that two reasons. Like the poster is just like them looking at each other. It's like, oh, it's going down.
I know, it looks awesome. No, hey,
time travel.
Got two dead to cinema possibilities right there.
Time travel, L.A. culture, Sandra Bullock before she was huge, Rob Schneider in a funny comedic role. Hey, look, he worked with Judge Dredd, too. A lot to go on there. But yeah, so moving on, like I said.
You're melting my brain, and I'm trying to pick up the pieces right now because that sounds preposterous to me.
It's an amazing movie. It's one of those like gems that I watched on cable growing up that I'm like that and Last Action Hero, just great
like they
movies.
Were on HBO and you watch them all the time.
Yeah, it's like, how has no one ever told me about this movie, and yet I've seen it like 10 times this week, and I can't get enough. It's one of those. It's still either of those movies. If they were on cable, I would stop what I was doing to watch it for at least 5 minutes apiece. Other buyouts, though, this one is huge, just astronomical. It's ridiculous. This is like silly. It's like who's doing this shit? Verizon has acquired Yahoo officially for the hefty sum of $4.83 billion. Almost $5 billion for a worthless piece of trash that used to be popular. Like this comes.
How many people still use Yahoo Mail? Like I know I got my account,
I have a
but
junk
I
account.
I don't exchange that with anybody anymore, and no one exchanges a Yahoo account with me. So,
people use Yahoo for their fantasy sports, and for that's it. It's their fantasy sports. I don't like Yahoo Messenger's dead. That their TV network that Community was on, that's
Yahoo,
dead, full screen or whatever.
Too, it wasn't that user friendly.
Gone. Like everything that Yahoo's ever tried to do was not a success. Besides like their sports. And when I see people who have Yahoo as their homepage, I'm kind of like flabbergasted. Like, why would you search from them instead?
I don't know. It's far more. It's better than Hotmail.
Well, that doesn't even really exist either anymore.
That's my point.
But this comes
I'm just
about
trying to give Yahoo the very little credibility that it has.
You know what Yahoo stands for?
What?
Yet another hierarchical officious oracle.
Okay, fuck Yahoo, let it die.
Yeah. So this comes about a year after Verizon snagged AOL for a similar sum. I think they paid like $3.76 for $1 billion, mind you, for AOL, meaning that these two long-term rivals are now in the same business under the umbrella of American hierarchy here. So AOL and Verizon are part of the larger picture, which is, AOL and Yahoo are part of the bigger picture of Verizon, which is kind of scary. The weirdest thing here is that Yahoo declined a $47 billion buyout from Microsoft back in 2008 because it, and I quote, undervalued their worth. And this was like only a year or two.
47 billion?
Billion. And this was only like a year or two. The reason they thought this is like AOL purchased Time Warner only like 3 or 4 years before that. So they're like, if they can do that, we can do anything. It's funny how the Giants has fallen. Like, Google is, worth like how many trillions of dollars probably, and Yahoo is like they're probably crying in like tears of joy that they even were worth this much now. I can't imagine how they're worth $5 billion. It's crazy.
Well, God, hey, there's 40 million that they lost right there.
It's like
billion, sorry, not
billion. Yeah, 4,000 million. Yeah. That they lost. And
they lost the 40 million that could have been within that 40 billion. So there you go. It's insane. Like, I don't think about Yahoo anymore at all, but it's crazy that I think I use it's like the MySpace of 10 years ago, something I used quite often, but now it's just irrelevant.
Like, the only, sure, it was my first email account because Gmail didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
But the only time I really used Yahoo was in the pre-Skype, pre-Facebook days, when it was a really good instant messaging service, and it was my way to communicate with my grandpa. Like, we do, video chats and such through Yahoo. But after that, once MySpace and Facebook came out, I seriously, I never go to Yahoo, ever. It's why would you want to use their search engine when it's not as good as Google? That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Google is synonymous with it's basically a verb now. Google it is a term.
It is a verb.
Yahoo doesn't have that.
I think I've heard someone say that shit once. So they're like, "Let me Yahoo that," and I just laughed at him what? No. It's like, what?
Fucking hipster, really?
It's like that's it, like saying I go to Burger King for their chicken nuggets. It's like, don't lie to yourself. No one goes there for the chicken fries aren't that bad, but you don't go there for those. Don't be that guy.
Just no.
Supposedly the reason why Verizon was interested, besides having astronomical amount of money, they seriously probably make $4 billion a month just from their bills, people paying their phone bill, their internet bill. You gotta remember, Verizon owns TV also, so just people paying that monthly bill. Just this past month, all of July was probably $4 billion. So this is chump change to them when you're that big of a corporation. But apparently the reason why they're interested in acquiring them was to promote their Go 90 campaign, where it's the be healthy, here's your little videos on the go type thing. It's kind of like their own video network. But I guess they want to use their infrastructure, maybe use their servers. I don't know. No one knows. We'll find out. It's kind of sure, AOL is owned by Verizon now, but if you go on Engadget, which AOL is the parent company for, they're all, anytime they report on Verizon, they're like, full disclosure, Verizon owns us, but we don't give a shit. We're telling you how it is. And so I'm sure that Yahoo's going to be the same way, even for sports, I guess. I don't know what else. It's they're so behind the times. We've been talking about Twitter a lot on the show.
Yeah.
The rollout that's been happening between, what was it last week? We were talking about, was it basketball?
Fuck, what was it?
I believe it was NBA. It's they're going to have a syndicated...
the Periscope equivalent of that, yeah.
Yeah, basically. And they also have Thursday night football games coming up. They announced this week that they're doing weekly out-of-market MLB and NHL games, as well as a nightly SportsCenter-esque show called The Rally, which is going to have a content deal with NBA. So if you've ever watched SportsCenter, they use Twitter a lot to show athletes, to show trending topics, to show polls. So it makes sense that the people that created Twitter would be able to use it better than ESPN can. It'd be funny if they're like, you can't use Twitter anymore, that's ours. But they've been, it's always been great for tracking sports and also entertainment's how I, keep up to date on all the news on the show. And it's all full circle now. They're going to have basketball, they're going to have football, they're going to have baseball, hockey. What's next? I'm sure the FIFA is going to get involved. Twitter's probably going to become the go-to source for all sports. It's going to be the millennial version of a sports bar. You can already have the conversations with everyone. So when you see a major player who actually is known, they've been active for 10 years and only getting bigger and bigger every day, And they're doing this, and then you look at Verizon buying Yahoo. It's like, well, if you got that much money, why not just fucking buy Twitter? Like, I don't understand how you can have that much money and not have that foresight. Like, it's like
probably because Twitter doesn't want to sell, and they have the potential for growth.
Maybe, but Yahoo
That's
seems
the big
like
thing.
a worthless
They know that
investment.
they can keep going. Yahoo is like, they're fucking clueless at this point and just so out of touch with the times that they don't know where to go. They've already tried, they tried Yahoo Screen. That's the name. That's just one of the many things that they tried, and it's not working out for them.
No, it didn't. They shuttered that months and months ago now. But it's like,
I'm
imagine
saying it's not working out.
Imagine it's not possible.
Like not that specifically. I'm just saying what they're trying. It's not working out.
It's like, imagine Verizon try to buy MSN next. It's not possible because MSN stands for Microsoft.
That's
like,
gone,
network.
isn't? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
MSNBC
is that
still
even
exists.
existence? Does it exist anymore?
MSNBC still exists. That's what they still call the channel.
No, but wait,
that's
is that
what I'm
the
saying.
same
like,
as MSN? Like, it's
I think it's related.
Isn't it?
No, I think they're related. But I'm just
It
pointing
doesn't
out.
even. I don't know what the logo looks like anymore. I forgot.
So it's so ludicrous. But let's keep on rolling with all these stupid buyouts. Talking about Redbox, you brought them up last week. I forgot to mention that they're trying to get back into the digital streaming game. This time, the service this time is not going to be a subscription. It's going to be like a marketplace where you pay as you go.
Paper stream.
Yeah, it could be good. I think the only way it would be brilliant is like if you're at the actual Redbox kiosk, if you're able to like purchase the movie right then and then like put it on a flash drive and then watch it. Because you got to remember, the only reason Redbox really exists is because most of their demographic doesn't have internet, and so they have to rent the videos somehow still, and they actually have the physical disc. So if they could find like an intermediate between that and the internet, it might work for them, because it's not that horrible Redbox streaming powered by Verizon thing. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, that makes more sense actually. Honestly, like as far as Redbox, like I still use it because it's cheaper and because I don't have to worry about the internet going out, and because it's literally across the street from me right now at Walgreens.
And it's super cheap.
Yeah, but I mean that's exactly what Netflix should be doing. I think is they should be doing pay per stream, because I mean it makes more sense if they want to make more money that way. And also, like, physical media is on its way just out the door, so how else are you going to watch new releases instead of going to Vudu or something, Like, I don't know, Netflix has the opportunity to make something more user-friendly than Amazon, I feel, on that front.
Well, anyway, Redbox's parent company,
I'm
Outerwall...
going to something else.
No, it's fine. But their parent company, Outerwall, was just purchased by a private equity group for $1.6 billion. I can't believe Redbox is worth that much. And here's a little factoid. Outerwall doesn't just own Redbox, they also own Coinstar. So you see those guys right next to each other in convenience stores? It's the same company. Who knew that? I didn't. Thanks, variety. It's like, who's left? Do you like Pinewood Studios? Guess what? They're no longer that either. They were just obtained...
That's the weirdest segue into that one.
They're obtained by a U.S. property fund, Venus Grafton, for $425 million, which seems like a little under what it's worth. Especially because you got to remember all the Star Wars movies are still filming there, Star Trek. Any big movie, James Bond, they shoot at Pinewood. Pinewood just made a new studio, I think, in South Africa. Like, it's still a big name. They got widely popular in the early 2000s again. It was like, oh, they made Star Wars there in the 70s, but now, like, everyone's shooting there all the time.
They have the 007 stage there, like a ton of stuff there.
And so they just got bought out. And then the final one here, and I think this is the biggest impact.
Wait, does them being bought out has anything to do with the Brexit?
It could be. I don't think so. I remember reading the article. You'd find yourself just type in Pinewood Studios obtained. I think it was something
that just came to mind, but I don't.
You don't have internet
enough to know what will happen.
If I remember correctly, what happened was the people that currently run Pinewood were looking for ways to, just in case like this good luck were to falter again, that they'd have a way to fall back on. And now all the investors, all the people that have made Pinewood what it is, they got more money than it was probably worth to begin with, and they all get happily ever after. They're probably still running the shindig, but they don't have to worry about the ins and outs and worry about, what if the Brexit affects this? What if the Hollywood blockbuster fails? What about this? And now it's like, they already got money in their pocket, so they came out on top. But the final one here, I think that this is the most important buyout. Chinese tech company Leeco has just acquired Vizio for $2 billion. It's going to exist as an independent company and still be based in Southern California. But does this mean that there's no longer an American TV manufacturer? It's like China owns everything. And like Vizio, they started off as that bargain brand that you could only buy at like Costco and Walmart. Yeah. And then over the last 6, 7, 8 years, it's become a premier TV brand. 4K, they were one of the first ones to do it cheap. We were talking about them on the show a couple of months ago when they introduced their new like Chromecast remote. They made 3D a necessity on flat screens. They were one of the first people to do LED backlight instead of LCD. Like, they were really progressive in the fact that it was made in America and that it was still from here. A lot of people clung to that or clinged on to it, and now it's like they're gone. Like, well, are they?
I think you just answered your own question earlier.
But why are they giving up on the TV game before 4K is even a thing? They have so much to prove, in my opinion, that they're taking the easy way out. Or is it just that you can't say no to money? Just like Yahoo and Pinewood and Redbox and Carmike. It's like if the dollars are there, it makes sense. Like,
well, here's the thing. We talk a lot about all these new TVs being made, but who's buying them?
A lot of people.
Like, are enough people buying them in the States? Because I mean, there aren't that many people that get new TVs really anymore. You know, they hold on to their. Some people don't even have flat screens yet. Like,
I think that number is a lot smaller than you think it is, though. I would guess like the percentage of Americans that don't have a flat screen / HD TV is probably less than 10%.
Yeah, but I guess my point is now, like, you don't see many people going to Best Buy to buy TVs anymore.
Well, how often do you go to Best Buy?
Whenever I got to buy a TV, which is like,
you know, like,
once
I'm
every
sure
5 years. But I mean, yeah, it's just like
the last couple times I've been to Best Buy, I've seen people walking away with TVs. So I'm sure if you stayed in a location for a couple hours, you'd see enough of the transactions happen. But you just got to remember, like, think about all the people our age. Most of us, I mean, I'm using myself as an example, have never bought a TV with their own money. If you're going to,
I have.
Well, I know you have, but I think most of us, anyway,
hard-earned money
in the mid-20s, haven't really ever bought a TV. It's either been gifted to them, or it was lent to them, or something like that.
Lucky bastards, really?
And the people now, if they're going to buy a TV, I think they're either going one or two ways. They're either buying the top of the line, blow it out of the water, or I got something that will last me a good 10 years, or give me the cheapest fucking thing possible. It just has to look good until it breaks. And Vizio was in the go-between between both of those. It had the top-level specs, it was budget-friendly, and it was a known brand, or at least now, and now it's gone, kind of. Like, it's still going to exist. We're going to forget about this, you know? And in a couple of weeks or a month, no one's going to even be any of the wiser. I'm sure that this is a story most consumers aren't going to be worrying about. But there's enough people there, in the same way that when I worked for AMC Theaters, when I'd have people come in going, you know, China owns this theater. I'd go, yeah. They're like, yeah, I wish I could support America, but I don't like going to Regal or something like that. And I'm sure it's going to be a similar thing with Vizios. There's going to be someone at Walmart shaking their head like, yeah, you know, China actually just bought them. The consumer's going to go, yeah, I know. It's kind of sad to me.
Yeah, I really don't have a response, like, other than, you know, this just ties into, like, a much larger conversation of us losing jobs here domestically and now losing product, and it, like, it's not something I want to dig
more than anything.
too deep into. It's, you know, yeah, it's the times they are a-changing.
It's like,
yeah,
is there even the possibility, without being a startup, to be your own entity anymore? It seems like no matter what level of success you find, someone who's more successful is going to purchase you for their own success.
Well, you know, but here's the thing that we're talking about here is that we're talking about a Chinese company buying out all television manufacturers, and we're talking about Wanda starting to buy out theater exhibitors. Yet VR is developing here, so, you know.
Sort of. I mean, HTC is Taiwanese, so, you know, they're one of the big players. You got Sony's Japanese. Here, Oculus is it. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, unless
and that's the same story. Oculus was purchased from Facebook, or purchased by Facebook rather. So I mean, that's, you know, like just another example of the same exact thing, that it doesn't seem like there's the possibility anymore to be a success in America unless someone else wants you.
But we are talking about old media, though, like being bought out.
Well, I'm just saying
media,
VR, though. Like the fact that Oculus was purchased
just spitballing an
by
idea
Facebook.
here, and I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to find a reason of why it's not all hopeless. That's all.
Well, good luck.
I'm trying. I try.
I don't think hope is gone. It's just imagine
it is different. Yeah.
Imagine if we had factories here still. Imagine if we had things that were made in America and we're proud to buy those. Imagine we had a successful movie chain that was owned fully by us. Like imagine, like countless other examples.
To someone here who lives in Austin, which takes great pride in a bunch of local spots and local places. Like I go out and eat at like a ton of local spots. Like there's very few corporate places I go to. And like the Alamo is also like an example of a local business that people are proud of here.
I was going to say the Alamo, they've expanded pretty large. They're throughout Texas. Mm-hmm. There's some of them in California. They're in Colorado.
Most of them are in the South. But there's one in San Francisco and one's about to open up in LA. I mean, they're expanding.
I know there's one or two in Denver. What I'm trying to say is, when you have that much success, you start attracting people with success, just like these other buyouts. I guarantee. If like the LA venue is popular, which it most undoubtedly will be, that someone's probably going to buy the Alamo Drafthouse. I don't know if it's going to be AMC, but it's a possibility. It's probably going to be another theatrical chain. That could be Regal. It could be Edwards. I
don't know, because it's really the anti-corporate place. Like, you go to an AMC, you'll see a bunch of corporate advertisements and product placement all over for the pre-shows. Alamo does not do that at all. It's all about whatever's relevant to the movie that you're going to watch, or you just see some weird shit that they want to show you. Like, it's very anti-corporate. So
there's an easy way to skate
I don't know.
that
We'll see
though.
how it goes, but
like in the same way that Legendary is owned by Wanda, right? It's not like it's that they pull the strings. It's just they're the ones that make the money. Comcast owns DreamWorks Animation. It's the same deal. It's not that they make all the decisions, but at the end of the day, it is their baby. Like I have a feeling, because like how much longer until like Ford Motor Company buys Uber or something like that? Because every week it seems like there's another. It's like you said, like you kind of guessed the title here. Had to do something with a buyout. That there's another story here.
Well, kind of had, or we've been talking about this for like the past half hour.
We've been talking about it for this.
For however long we've been recording right
roughly,
now.
But what I'm trying to say is, it seems like every week there's another purchase like this, and I wonder if the little man, the little guy, is going to exist much longer in this kind of society. Like, do you kind of combat the recession by just proving how big your dick is and signing a bigger check for something?
Well, I mean, this is, that is a big problem of just, right now, like, hell, the past 5 years, I mean, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. I'm not saying anything new, but, that is, I mean, absolutely, that is what we're seeing happen here, and that's reason to worry. I don't want to be too negative. I want to remain optimistic, at least in some sense, but... it's not like this hasn't happened before. I think humanity will at least be okay in the broad picture. I hope.
I hope so too.
And I say that with a question mark at the end. Yeah.
Well, this show's not all bad money. There is some good stuff going on here. I should just call this the money episode. But anyway, this all has been part of
this is dollar reviews, and it's 2 cents.
That's true
so
too.
Yeah, it's always money.
It's always the money. But yeah, this is all the important sections. This is stuff that I think is most noteworthy. That's why it's at the top. I guess you could call them headlines, but they're all that. So to prove that it's not all bad, Kickstarter claims that they've successfully funded projects. Kickstarter says that their successfully funded projects have reaped $5.3 billion so far. That's just the ones that they've met all the goals. That's a huge amount. What's even bigger about that is that they get 5% of that.
Mm-hmm.
So 5% of $5 billion, I'm not good at math, but that's like $10 million? Something like that. I don't even know how to type out that many zeros.
5% of $5 billion?
Yeah, I want to say it's like 10 million.
No, that's more like that's
100
like
million? 50 million?
I want to say 50 million.
It's a lot.
Or no, 25 million. Well, god damn it. Shit, 5% of
it's
5 billion.
It's 53000000000 times 0.05.
So it's probably what, like 25 million, I'm guessing.
So it's a lot, okay, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Among, their advertising dollars and whatever else they do. But, this is good. This is proof that the little man still can be a success. It kind of counters the buyouts that I'm talking about here. And proof of that is that successful Kickstarter products are going to be highlighted on Amazon's Launchpad page now. They've always been there, but say there's like that new board game that you heard about that got funded, or a movie that's successful, or I don't know, like a comic book, it's all going to be available in a specific Amazon marketplace, instead of having to go through Kickstarter and try to find the things that are successful. It's like, oh, the Sweet Blood of Jesus and Wish I Was Here and Tusk, kind of. Like you have
No, not really.
Well, it was crowdfunded, though.
Tusk?
Or was that Red State?
No, neither were.
Which one was crowdfunded? I thought
Kevin Smith said he would not turn to crowdfunding because he has access to money.
Was it the...
Yeah, he was asked about opinions on Zach Braff, and he said, no, I would never do that because I'm able to get money from people.
Oh, what I'm getting confused of is at the end of Clerks 2, the credits are super long because those are all the people that liked it on Facebook. No, MySpace.
What?
Yeah.
No.
When's the last time you watched Clerks 2? Have you ever watched the whole credits?
Like 10 years ago, and I wasn't watching credits back then.
The credits are astronomically long, and I think I'm one of them. As there was this
and
thing...
Really? I got to watch that now.
If
but
you,
you're making a connection from Clerks 2 to Kickstarter for something that existed years later.
I knew that a Kevin Smith movie had really long credits for some reason. I was trying to remember why. And so, if you put the Clerks page in your top 8 on MySpace, your name appeared in the credits. And there's also like a sweepstakes.
I wish I knew that.
Well, I knew it. I'll watch the movie tonight, right? I'll take a screen cap. I'll put it on our website.
All right, well, do it.
I won't do it. No. Here's the funny side of money. Every episode should just have a money section like this. Luc Besson, it has to pay 450,000 euros to John Carpenter for stealing the concept to Lockout from Escape from New York. Yeah, this appeals court in France ruled that for like the last couple of years. I mean, this movie came out like 3 years ago now. That
have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Is it really that similar?
No, not okay. If you write it down on paper, yeah. It's like this outlaw is being recruited by the U.S. government to go to this prison to save the president's daughter. Pretty similar. Okay, and there's other stuff about like people with eye patches or whatever. They're similar movies, but it's not like, oh my god, you 100% stole this version of this movie. No one else has ever made a movie like this before. Pay millions of dollars so they'll be happy. Like John Carpenter wanted more than that. It's so ridiculous. It's like, hey, Mr. Carpenter, when's the last time you made a movie? How about you do that instead of like preying on Luc Besson because he makes so much all the time?
Well, he's doing well. He played music here like in I think that concert was like a month ago in Austin.
Well, but we talked about on the show before. Like I can't remember the last time he had a movie. Never mind a good movie.
The Ward, which I haven't seen.
No, it was like 2005. But yeah, a good movie.
No, John Carpenter doesn't need to make movies anymore unless he wants to at this point. He's made so much great stuff. I mean, I saw The Thing again recently, and that movie's still fucking awesome. I also saw Prince of Darkness for the first time. I mean, that is...
Oh, you actually saw that? Oh, no, yeah, I'm not thinking Prince of Darkness. I'm thinking of Mouth of Madness. You need to see that. That's amazing.
I have not. No.
So kick-ass. But yeah, now he's satisfied with looking at creative control over his remakes. We talked about on the show Halloween, Escape from New York.
Government, though, making him pay for that?
Yeah. The appeals court.
That's funny. I guess that would happen in France.
Fucking Frenchies.
It would make sense. Yeah, just to protect
guys.
Artistic integrity, that the government would do that. Yeah, that's funny.
It's too stupid though. Like how many times?
It really is stupid.
It's like Celtic Pride, The Fan, Deep Impact, Armageddon. Yeah, it's like every couple of years you get one of these friends with benefits, no strings attached. It's like I don't know, remember
and this
any
is years divorced from each other. Like,
and not to mention this is the same year, and then this case is like 40 years, but whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
John Carpenter has to make money, I guess. Build that case. That was a name fun.
I don't know. Maybe he just really hates Luc Besson. I don't know.
I don't know how. Cool guy. This is probably the coolest. You might really like the next one. In my opinion, this is the coolest thing this week. So, hot off of being named the co-president of DC Films, Geoff Johns, I talked about it. He's kind of now the Kevin Feige of DC.
I can see why you think this is the coolest thing this week.
He's been named the president of DC Entertainment on the whole. He was already the chief creative officer. He was already the co-president of DC Films. Now he's the president of all of DC. He's going to be running the creative decisions in the comic books, the creative decisions in the movies. I'm assuming this implies also like TV shows and action figures. He already has a hand in The Flash on the CW. Like, he's doing everything. He's even currently writing the Rebirth event. He's helping Ben Affleck with the solo Batman movie. Like, they have securely established a singular figurehead to help their company stay strong in the present going into the future.
So what if he fucks up?
I doubt it. Every story that I've read of his is great. Flash Rebirth, Green Lantern Rebirth. He kind of helped Green Lantern become what he is now with the color spectrum. Like I said, the Rebirth DC line that's going on right now. I've read some of his Superman. Everything I've ever read of his is really good. And there's a reason why he was put in this position. And it's not just because of how things have gone at Warner Brothers lately, and especially DC. I think that, he's a producer on the Justice League. I have a feeling that this is going to help further their separation from Marvel. Like, he's probably like, no credit sequences. None of this.
Which is a good thing, honestly. I'm just being a dick. But yeah, no, like, I don't know enough about Geoff Johns. Like, I trust your judgment there, and that's a good thing, and that's what fans would at least like, and that that DC is in good hands.
He's highly respected by the fans and by artists and just about anyone in the comics industry.
And just understands the core of DC and how that's different from what Marvel is. Really, it should not be the same thing. They should be different.
All of what it is, because they are very different for lots of different reasons. It's more so I'm excited because to have a creator running the company, well, it's like there's another president of DC still, the current one, but even still, they're like cohorts now. They're at the same level. But the fact that you have a creative person who is already the chief creative officer, now being in charge of everything, it just like it takes a burden off me, like a weight's been lifted. Like, okay, maybe they won't fuck up again. Like a Batman versus Superman won't happen again.
There is danger in that, in giving a creative person so much responsibility, because, I mean, they don't have as much room to focus on one specific project. I mean, it's really a question of whether or not he can handle it, and, I mean, not to be negative, but, hey, like, what's a good example? I don't know, John Lasseter, maybe?
Sort of, yeah.
Who just focuses on a ton of stuff, but, yeah, I mean, doesn't get nearly as much respect now as then,
it's like
George Lucas, maybe? I don't know.
Not anymore. But DC,
no.
Like I said, Geoff Johns has been the chief creative officer for like 6 or 7 years now. He's been writing books ever since then. Jim Lee, who's one of the most respected artists in the game, he's the co-publisher of DC Comics, and he's been continuously writing books. Matter of fact, Geoff Johns
still find the time to do what they want.
Yeah, Geoff Johns and Jim Lee did the whole first 12 issues of the Justice League when the New 52 launched. Both of them were on the board at DC, and they were still pumping out one of their most popular books at that time. So I think that they have this ability to pick the right people for the right jobs at DC, and I really hope that this is just a good sign of more things to come instead of a warning sign. But you could be right. They could be pushing Geoff Johns to an extreme.
Well, it's like you never know, because I mean, you can only do so much work and focus on creative projects. And really give it the attention that it needs. You know, no matter how talented you are, like, it's really difficult to juggle a bunch of things. So that's where I'd remain cautious. But the fact that they found someone who, like, from what I'm hearing, seems to really care about the job and what everybody wants, and like that they can all be on the same page. That's good for DC, because we'll wait and see until the movies get put out, but hopefully it's good, you know, because I mean there was that period for Marvel where people were worried if the Avengers was going to work, because not everybody was hot on Iron Man 2, and quite a few people didn't think that Thor and the first Captain America were that great, and they were still worried. So, you know, who knows? We'll see if they can win the hearts of the rest of the world, but
I'll bring up.
Yeah, it sounds like you're happy. So
I'm very happy. I'll bring.
Yeah,
up,
so I'm glad for you and everybody else.
I'll bring up the Marvel and DC camps later during the cool section. We just got one or two items here left before we get into tech and VR. The first of which I'm sure you're going to be happy about. You probably didn't see it because you haven't had internet. But Disney's working on a sequel/reboot to Joe Johnston's The Rocketeer right now, and it's titled The Rocketeers. Not the best title.
I'm actually not happy about that.
No?
No.
Here, I'll give you more to be unhappy about then. This is going to take 6 years. It's going to take place 6 years after the first movie, and it's going to star a black female pilot. Hey, just like the new Iron Man. Better yet, it's going to be produced by Blake Griffin and Ryan Khalil of the Carolina Panthers, and it's being penned by Henry Winkler's son. So the Fonzie's son is writing the thing.
Okay, well, that's not why I'm unhappy about it. I mean, it's just the idea of making sequels to movies that are over 20 years old is just, well, you know, it's like I don't need it. Like, I saw Independence Day Resurgence. I enjoyed it fine, but I didn't need it, you know, like, so, I mean, that's really just when I hear news like that now, I'm just kind of like, do we really need it? Like,
difference here, though, this is
Can
Disney.
we really not just move on and, like, because it feels like when you're digging that far back, you're really desperate to bring something back that...
Disney has a good track record with these kind of things, though. Look at the Winnie the
Tron
Pooh
Legacy,
movie that came
but
up.
Again,
I'm not even saying Tron Legacy, even though I like that too. I'm saying more
I'm just saying, like, that
Pete's
is something
Dragon,
that is that old.
Jungle Book, Cinderella, you know, all
but
these...
that's bringing back their old animated films. Like, this is literally... you did say sequel, right?
Sequel/reboot, like the Legacy,
which is fucking weird, like...
Sorta. I hope that Joe Johnston is involved in some way, or...
I mean, here's another thing, though. Like, I like The Rocketeer. Does this make sense financially, though? Like, I mean, I know it has a cult following, but come on, do you think this would really be that big?
No. I think The Rocketeer is only
unless they
known...
change it drastically.
I mean, obviously, Disney fanatics know everything about the movies, but I think the average consumer has no clue what The Rocketeer is, and I don't know if it would work today because it's going to be 6 years later. This is still going to be period. This is going to be, you know, late 40s, early 50s, and I don't know if the mass film market is happy or ready for period pieces because... Yeah, we got Wonder Woman coming out.
We do have Wonder Woman, yeah.
Yeah, and we had Captain America not too long ago. But for the most part, period movies are for the older crowd. Like, they're trying to make a comic book movie, a period movie, like a nostalgic trip through Hollywood if they retain the same principles. Because that's what made that first movie so much fun, the fact that you had, like, this behind-the-scenes look of what Errol Flynn went through, basically. And it was also a swashbuckling movie with, like, Hollywood parody going on / satire and all of that, like Howard Hughes being a character. And I don't know how that's going to happen now. I think it's even weirder that, like, I don't know if it's connected, but the fact that Marvel / DC just announced a new flying hero that's black and female and that this movie star in the same exact thing.
Well, I mean, that's not so much an issue. Like, I don't know. I mean, for that's like, hey, cool. But just going back to the period piece thing that you mentioned, like, as far as appeal, you know, I have not seen that Wonder Woman trailer, but it sounds like everybody's going nuts for it and they're looking forward to it. And so, I mean, it's not like you can't make something that appeals to people like that. It's just I don't think you can make that the main thing that appeals to them. Like, it being a period movie, that could be a nice detail about it to appeal to the audience, but you can't really sell it as that, I think.
Well, I think the real difference...
Like, you know, I doubt that Wonder Woman is being sold as a World War I movie. It just happens to be a movie set in World War I. That's what it sounds like to me.
It's kind of both. But, like, the real selling factor for Wonder Woman is You know she's basically immortal. You know where she is in Batman vs. Superman and also Justice League because of the new trailer. And so this is fleshing out, what she was doing to begin with. Why wasn't she here all along? So it kind of has to be taking place in the past in the same way that Captain America: The First Avenger did. They're going to be very similar movies, probably. Just this one's going to be way more kick-ass. But no,
hopefully we find out how Lex Luthor got information on her. That's all I want to know.
Maybe it does like a Dracula Untold thing at the end.
I seriously doubt that the Ultimate Cut is going to justify that in any way for me, but I will be surprised if it does.
It's a silly fucking thing in a movie that has a lot of silly things.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I got this computer with some pictures on it, and Wonder Woman's in one of them.
I guess it's not good writing, but then I see why.
I'm sure they're gonna do something cool in the movie where the photographer who takes that picture of the crew in Wonder Woman is kind of like a little joke, like it's like Jimmy Olsen's grandpa or something like that. Like they'll make it work.
No, that's too Marvel. That's way too Marvel.
They'll make it work. Okay.
We'll see. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that this sounded like a really cool thing. I'm probably not going to go see it in theaters, but I'll watch it on Netflix for sure.
It's one of those things where I just feel like it's happened so many times now that where something is brought back and like fans get excited, but then you kind of realize after the fact, oh, okay, well,
I didn't need that to begin with.
Like I just don't think I think Rocketeer is a good enough movie that you can let it stand on its own as a product of its time. I don't think you have to bring it back. I don't think it needs to be brought back. I mean,
it's kind of a forgotten
I'm more
movie,
and more just kind of groaning when I hear something getting brought back, because then they're just really, people will always have their eye on it when you hear about news about what's happening on the internet of who's being cast on there, and then there's just so much focus on trying to make it true to what it was, and fans are just like looking so hard at it, and there's so much pressure on there that I feel like there's no chance, like you're kind of just screwing yourself over because there's such a stronghold already put on the movie that you're not letting it become its own thing and take its own shape, and it just kind of fucks everything up.
Well, my point earlier...
I feel like, just franchise filmmaking is just getting way more difficult now to be good in a way. Like, it's amazing when people can pull it off, but I mean, even something like Civil War, which I'm getting on a tangent here, but yeah, even Civil War, like, people at the very least liked it. They didn't lose their shit over it or were surprised by it because there was just such a strong hold on what they wanted that movie to be, and I'm done now. But I think I got my point out there.
The point I was trying to make about the storybook adaptations is that all of those, maybe less so Pete's Dragon, but for the most part, all of those properties are well known and loved by not just kids but adults and even grandparents. And it seems like Disney has a really good ability at knowing not just what their fan base wants, but the average theater-going crowd does too. And it doesn't matter necessarily if they're adapting one of their old cartoons or adapting one of their theme rides or even one of their theme parks.
There's a difference, though, when you're talking about, like, a comic book. Like, I think when you're talking about fans, like, especially of a Marvel film, like, God, what is it that you said? I know you said this specifically, and I just can't remember for which movie. But like, like when for whatever comic book movie is, there is always a fan going in where they say, if this person is going to be this, or if they're going to do this, then I'm going to hate this movie. You've said it specifically on one thing. I just can't remember. Like,
I don't know.
But that expectation is not the same when it comes to classic Disney animated films being live action. No one is going to lose.
No, there are more people out there, I guarantee it, that are Disney fanatics than there are Marvel fanboys. You have to remember that Marvel has only been popular.
The point I'm making is that.
But Marvel's been popular for maybe 20 years. Like, you could kind of date it for that. I mean, the heroes have always kind of been known, but they've only really been popular since like that first Blade movie. Okay, that's when Marvel really became a household name, when the properties were known. These Disney movies, like The Jungle Book, for instance, that's like 70 years.
My point is that, well, Jungle Book was like 50 years ago, but
isn't it a little bit? It was in the late 50s.
60s.
It was the 60s.
It was like right. That was the movie where Walt died too.
There's so many.
The point I'm making though is like, the expectations that fans of superhero adaptations have of what they want to see happen and what they won't accept is very different from fans of those classic Disney films. Like, they won't necessarily lose their shit on what is similar or what deviates from the movie. They might criticize the movie for it, but they won't be nearly as passionate about it, I think, unless it's something that is unforgivable. But I think it's reviving those animated classics. It's a much more safer bet for them, and that's probably why they don't feel as memorable.
Perhaps, but even with Star Wars, I'm sure with Indiana Jones in a couple of years, Disney has a pretty good track record with being able to bring these franchises or properties back from the grave. Tron Legacy notwithstanding, even though the box office wasn't as nice to it as I would have liked, because there's no third movie yet. But it seems like they're able to understand what their fans want, and then they're able to give it to them in much of the same way that they wanted it in the first place. Like, there's a really great community there, or just, I don't know exactly, but Disney, they kind of have like the golden touch, the Midas touch, Aladdin King of Thieves reference, Prince of Thieves.
I mean, even if it's not there with the product, they know how to sell it.
They definitely sell
it.
And
that's absolutely it. I mean, they got, they're the highest grossing, they had the biggest box office last year. This year, they're kicking ass.
Oh, they're going to win this year. Yeah. They got another Star Wars movie
every
this
other
year.
studio is struggling right now.
They got 2 Marvel movies this year, 2 Disney reanimated movies, or like live-action movies, 2 Pixar, no, only 1 Pixar movie this year. But they have so many touchstone, well, they have Touchstone too, but they have so many of these studios and properties and just so much to play with that it's almost impossible for them to not succeed. And I think that them trying out the Rocketeer again is a good direction, because it kind of is like Tron. Whereas Tron at its point was real iconic because of its cast and what it was able to do with computer generated imagery and also the story. But it's kind of like in the same market as the Rocketeer. It's like a cult favorite, a cult classic.
The Rocketeer is a Marvel comic, isn't it?
No, it's 100% original. Oh wait, it was a comic, but it wasn't Marvel. But it was basically an original story, okay, with very loose tie. And they really, it was its own thing. Like, the movie's it's like Men in Black, okay? Men in Black is a Marvel comic, except no one read the comic.
This was the 90s, and comics weren't good. So it's like, hey, just take the idea, but make a movie.
Not just that, but, I mean, even you could do, like, what's another, like, Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing wasn't really known when Wes Craven made that movie. Like, comic books weren't really famous back then in the way that they are now. Mm-hmm. And so you could adopt these properties fast and loose, and no one would care. It's like, no one's ever gone, oh yeah, I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics. I can't believe they adapted those movies so poorly. Like, no. Like,
those were toys first, too. So.
No, I that is not true. You've said that on the show multiple times.
True.
Do your research. It is not true. It is a comic book line that became a toy, which became a movie, which became a cartoon. Toys were not first.
It's based on toys.
It is not based on toys. I know for a fact.
I'm going to have to look this up when I have the internet.
You can do it if you want. I know it as a fact. It is not a toy line. It's a comic book line. But last news item here in the important section, I talked about it last week, and the week before that, it wasn't a news item. I predicted it being one because, of course, we're talking about 4K TVs. Dish Network, DirecTV, and Comcast subscribers are going to be able to watch the Olympics in 4K this year. The footage is going to be on a 2.5-hour delay, but it's going to include the opening and closing ceremonies, basketball, swimming, track and field, all the stuff that's important, in addition to just local footage of Rio. This is an obvious thing.
I just hope that everyone is safe.
Well, sure.
Because things are really shitty, apparently, for the Olympics right now.
Maybe we'll have to do Elite Squad to tie in with the Rio Olympics.
I am hoping that there's no tragedy that happens, because this has been a horrible year for that.
I'm sure.
I mean, that'd be bad, isn't it, if we get it captured live in 4K? Well, no, there's a delay.
There's a big delay, yeah. I think this delay isn't as crazy as it is for the VR footage for Samsung viewers, but it's still enough that I have a feeling. Because, like, think about it. If you're crazy, and there's a lot of people out there that love the Olympics. I'm not one of them. But if the Olympics just started, are you really going to wait 2.5 hours to watch it in better definition? I don't know. Perhaps
if
you just
have access to that. I mean, I don't like. I've waited a full like 12 hours. You know, I would get up in the morning, and the Olympics would be spoiled for me by the morning news that I see my mom watching, and then when I tune in at 7 o'clock, it's like, well, I mean, you know, I was like 10, and I just liked hearing that John Williams theme. Really, that was it. But I mean, yeah, like I don't know. I guess maybe or.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
If I had a 4K TV, I would DVR the 4K presentation. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I would wait.
I would probably just watch the events I wanted. I would much rather watch the Winter Olympics, honestly.
I just wouldn't watch them, to be honest. Like it's like I'm sure I'll watch the opening ceremony, maybe not live, but definitely in clips on YouTube or on something else, just because like maybe GIFs of it or just still imagery, because it's always a spectacle. And
hopefully, I mean, it was pretty whatever. Unfortunately, for the one 4 years ago, and that was directed by Danny Boyle too.
You fucking crazy! You got James Bond flying into the arena with the Queen.
It was a very meh opening ceremony.
He came in like that off the sky. They had that like little short movie. I liked it.
I know, and it was just very meh. And even Daniel Craig seemed bored. I mean, granted, like I don't expect the Queen to turn in an amazing performance either, but. I mean, yeah, you know, it was a very opening ceremony for me.
We can't beat the fucking Chinese, so no one does it for that cheap.
No, you can't. That was fucking insane.
Well, yeah, they also probably like killed 100 people to get it perfect. It was like, do you want to die on international television? We'll do it. It's like someone else in the sweatshop will be out here in the clean air.
That's awful.
They modeled that arena after a bird's nest. It's like,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's awful.
Like birds' nests are made out of shit, like literal shit.
Please stop there, sir.
It's like
Let's keep going.
Just a weird metaphor for what happened there. So yeah, that was the important stuff. Here's tech and VR. My favorite section of the show. First one's video games, Nintendo more directly. First off, just a footnote. We talked about Pokemon Go here on the show. Everyone knows about it. Nintendo took a huge loss in the financial markets because the ugly truth that they didn't have anything to do with Pokemon Go came out, and so their stock, even though it climbed like a couple $1 billion recently, it basically dropped back to where it was before Pokemon Go was a thing. Yeah. This isn't a surprise.
Shit.
If you start Pokemon Go, it says Niantic, it says the Pokemon Company. It doesn't say Nintendo. It's just people started paying attention. But anyway, the expectation for things that are coming, the Nintendo NX, their new system, which currently doesn't have a name and wasn't shown off at E3 and probably isn't going to be at Gamescom, but it is coming in March. More details have coming out, and this has been Eurogamer reported first, then Kotaku, and I think IGN kind of confirmed it. Apparently, this new system is going to be a handheld, like, living room hybrid. It's going to be powered by an NVIDIA Tegra chip. And the way it works is it looks like a 3DS. When you're at home, the sides detach and become controllers, and then you can hook it up to your TV. And so the idea here is that you can play the same game no matter where you are, and it's kind of like a melding between what the Wii U did and what they currently do with their DS line. With that in mind, I don't know if it's going to be a hit or not. It's always a risk with Nintendo. This is going to be cartridge-based, so there's not going to be backwards compatibility with the Wii or Wii U or even GameCube games for that matter. But yeah, it's going to be unveiled in September, so we'll have more info in the coming month.
Are they going to pitch it more to families like they did with the Wii? I mean...
I don't fucking know.
Because that's really the main idea there, is that it's a family-friendly gaming set. Like I don't know what to think of Nintendo anymore, other than they have iconic characters. I mean, that's it, but they haven't really progressed in any way.
No, that's all they got. That's all they've ever had. If they didn't get so lucky at the onset of their video gaming legacy, if they didn't get lucky in the late 80s when they were the only game in town, really, to create these very iconic properties, they wouldn't have anything now, because the only racing game they have, or at least the only racing game that they make games for, is Mario Kart. The only platformer is like Mario. Like, you know, like the only adventure game, Zelda. The only space game, Metroid. You know, it's like they have one of everything. Like I said, the only racing game they actually develop is Mario Kart. They haven't made an F-Zero game. They've only ever made 2 F-Zero games. They made one on the GameCube, they made one on the Super Nintendo, and they made like a couple on Game Boy Advances. It's like the stupidest thing ever. F-Zero is awesome. But yeah, they don't respect their fan base. They give them like 1 or 2 games a year, but they're only known for their first-party intellectual properties. They've had a hard time retaining third-party support since the N64. They kind of pitched the Wii U as like, oh, we got a Pro Controller. Call of Duty's on it, Batman's on it, this is on it. Like your favorite games, Assassin's Creed, it's on the Wii now. And that never went anywhere. Those games don't exist there anymore. Like they even made Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U for some fucking reason, trying to capitalize on the same market share, and it never worked. So I don't think that's what they're going to be doing here. It's just, like I said, they have the very successful DS line. The 3DSs still sell like crazy. The Wii U didn't do so well, and so this console, this new NX, seems like just a hybrid between the two. If they were smart, they would stop making 3DS, they would stop making Wii U, and there would just be this NX. And this way, if you want to play Pokemon on the go, if you want to play it at home, you buy one game, you play it either way. And that kind of seems like the way that this is being pitched. But like I said, we'll know in about 2 months' time or so. Until then, your guess is as good as ours. If you got any information on this, or you think it's going a certain way, send us an email. You can send us an email for anything, or tweet at us at $views on Twitter. This one's way cooler. This is I got a couple of VR things here this week. Linden Labs, best known for their Second Life, I guess you could call it a game, it's more of a second world, has ceased support of Oculus Rift for its VR beta. They cited that it wasn't up to their standards, but in my opinion, it seems like they're focusing on their own new VR platform. Not like a headset, mind you, but like Second Life VR. And so they wanted to stop supporting what was already there before this new thing happens. Because Second Life was already kind of set up as a virtual reality. Like, it wasn't VR, but it's another way to live. Like in the way that EverQuest or World of Warcraft are, except in Second Life, there is no adventure like that. It's just exploring. There's museums. You can watch movies. It's all about commerce. You can buy clothes. You can buy real estate. It is literally a Second Life. Like, you could be super famous on there and nobody in real life, but it wouldn't matter because it's a virtual realm. And it doesn't make sense for me for them to shutter the VR beta for any reason when VR is getting so big, unless they had something up their sleeve. And it's been known for a while that they're working on their VR version, and I think that this is the first sign that it's going to be out here soon. They have to get it unveiled at the onset of VR to be the massively successful one. Last week we were talking about Meta World. That's like small potatoes compared to Second Life. It already has an established brand and name. They already have a large user base. That the fact that this was even a news item, that the VR was shuttered for it, means that there has to be enough people out there that the outlets had to, comment on that. So,
like, it has to be launching soon, otherwise,
yeah,
it's just dying, which I don't. That doesn't make sense.
No, I think that it could be true that the VR Second Life that was already out there wasn't up to snuff, but I think it's more so that they have something else in the pipeline very, very soon, like end of this year.
I don't know. I know for me, like, my opinion probably doesn't count to this, but the concept for Second Life to me just doesn't appeal to me at all. Like,
no, yeah,
like The Sims is not my thing either.
Those aren't even close to one another. You can't. It's not.
Well, I mean, that's really the best that you could compare it with, because I mean, like, the Sims in its own way is sort of a Second Life.
No, The Sims is a god.
If you really get attached to that, but
in all of the Sims games, SimCity, you play God and you make a house and then you control his family and what they do. Second Life is literally, like I said, it is a Second Life. Like, it's great naming on their part. It's a virtual reality. Like, there is no goal. It's just, I want to hang out with friends. I want to meet new people. Like I said, you can go to a museum. Like, you don't play Second Life because, like I said, there's no goal in mind. But to borrow from VR terminology, experienced it. I've logged in. I took a class where half the course was in Second Life. It was pretty cool. I knew what it was kind of before then. I still have just as good of an understanding of it what it is now. But it is cool for what it is. Like, for people that don't quite click with people in the real world, it's a perfect way to kind of not escape necessarily, but to find more even footing. I could see how it could be addicting too, because it really is a kind of uncanny platform for the scary side of the internet and how you can just lose yourself.
I think this is like it does sound weird to me, but not out of the realm of plausibility. Like it's just one of those things where I'm just like, I feel like I get more and more detached from gaming culture and online culture, but I don't know. I still need to experience VR for myself. Like, I hope that I'm not completely alienated from it, because when I think about like the ideal of it in my head, it's like it sounds awesome, but then again, if that might not be the reality of it either. I still like I have not experienced it, so like my mind is still trying to picture a ton of the shit that you're describing to me when you talk about it.
Like this isn't exactly the place for it, but we didn't do a Dollar Reviews episode this week, and I kind of want to talk to someone about it, so I guess I'll tell you. I tweeted about it too, but I experienced the Sam Esmail's Mr. Robot VR thing this week, 3 days ago now, I believe. Oh my god!
Talked about it last week, right?
I talked about that it was coming. I actually watched it this week, or experienced it rather. Not probably. The best use of narrative VR storytelling I've experienced so far. It uses kind of kick-ass transitions, real good music choice. The scenery is awesome. It's like a mix between sets and out there in the real world. There's some stuff on Coney Island. Interesting camera placement. There's like one where you're in between the two characters. There's one where like the camera's up on the wall above the bed, so your perspective has changed. There's this moment where Elliot, the main character played by Rami Malek, is getting high, and the camera is like on a crane. Well, it's not a crane, but they lift the camera up. It is elevated higher as like a little pun, like, oh, we're real high now. Kind of funny, and it's also really weird too to the feel it gives you of you're used to being on a certain plane, like you're sitting on the couch with him, and then to be with your head on the ceiling. Really fucked with me, in like a good way though. So I'll probably watch it again. If you guys have Within on your Google Cardboard,
like, were they
or
showing
Gear
it
VR,
live, or I mean, that was the thing.
There was a live broadcast, a simulcast, but now it's available for download. So anyone who has Oculus Rift, Vive VR, PlayStation VR in the near future, Google Cardboard, which I watch it on, Gear VR, if you have the Within app, which you can get from iTunes or the Android Marketplace or even on Steam, you can download this experience. Like I said, but I tweeted it out from our account. There's a download link there. Really got to experience this. Even if you're not a fan of the show, it takes place kind of before the first season happens, so you're not going to be spoiled on anything. You don't have to be associated with these characters. It's kind of like its own standalone thing, which is also fan service for fans of the show. But you got to check it out. Really, really fantastic. Coming off of that, though, the other VR news I got this week, and let me know if this sounds familiar, but Dota 2, which is a huge MOBA, has a VR theater mode now. It allows people to spectate matches from either the sidelines or the middle of the battle zone, and supports up to 15 friends at a time.
That sounds way more fun than... I mean, it is an RPG, right?
No, it's a MOBA. It's a massive online battle arena. Basically, the way it works, it's like, I got this character, I got this team. It's a real time strategy sort of. It's actually a mod of StarCraft 2. It's its own genre. Go research it. And
all right, never mind. Then I didn't know what you were talking. I know what Dota is, but I don't know
what I was getting at is this is something that I've talked about on the show before. Talking about like VR isn't going to work for first-person experiences and watching movies and go to concerts. What it's really going to work for is watching other people play video games. If there's 5 guys in NBA 2K playing a pickup game, if I can put on my VR headset and watch them from the sideline, like as if I had floor seats for a basketball game, that's going to work for me. Or WWE, or MLB, or Madden, or FIFA, or any sports game. Fucking Call of Duty. If I could be standing above the map in Call of Duty watching people shoot, or better yet, on the ground and I'm in it. if I can do that, oh, and that's right, you can do this. And so Dota doing this first, it is notable that Dota is published by Valve, who is half of the equation for HTC Vive, so they obviously have a stake in VR. But the fact that they've done this, it's already ready right now for everyone, that it should be any day now when, like, I know it's not going to happen this year, maybe it'll get baked in later, but the new Madden's coming out later this month, 2K's coming out early October. Like, all the new sports games are about to come out in the next month or two. All the big franchises are about to be released. That more of them need VR support. Tomb Raider announced like a little thing. Final Fantasy has like a little thing. They all have like, oh, like here's a little demo. I want across the board support for things of this nature. It's not a way to play the game. It's a way to watch the game. It's a way to experience the same experience, but from a completely different bag of tricks. I don't know if more people are paying attention, but this seems like something that is super easy to code, and it would like make the mass appeal, like, I don't know right now, but just exponentially larger. I have no interest in MOBA or Dota. I don't. It's not my kind of game. But if I had my PSVR,
for future games, yeah,
I would definitely watch some footage in VR just because I can. Like, why not? It's better than watching Twitch and it's a flat screen and you're not really there.
I mean, yeah, I could see that taking off. It's just, it's another one of those things where I want to know, I need to get a real sense of what the reality of the experience is like just to fully understand it. But yeah, I could totally see that being big.
Well, I got two tech things here that I don't really give a shit about. I'll skate over them real quick, basically because I don't really have anything to say about them. But some people at MIT and in Israel might have found a way to make glassesless movie theater 3D a reality. And secondly,
which is what I want.
Yeah, but it's a proof of concept right now, and it's only viable on like a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. But basically, they use like a whole bunch of lenses to recreate the parallax view from impossible angles. It's not going to be anytime near soon. It's going to be crazy expensive, and the movie theater probably won't need it because VR is becoming a thing. And the second one is just a cool little fact. This startup named Radiant Microtech has submitted 2 patents for true wireless phone charging. This isn't like the Samsung thing where you put it on a magnetic base and it charges that way. No, this is, if this becomes a reality, it uses the untapped radio waves that your phone has access to and magnifies them by using antennas in the screen to get up to 30% more battery life just through radio technology. But this is basically a rumor. Like, they submitted to the Patent Association, but like it hasn't come back yet. But just something cool. But yeah, here's the cool stuff. Teased it not too long ago. Talk about DC and Marvel and what they're doing. Start off with the big M. The Russo brothers, or I don't know if it was exactly them, but Marvel's unveiled that Avengers 3 and 4 have real titles now. Avengers 3 is officially called Avengers Infinity War. No surprise there. While its sequel has just been called Untitled Avengers. So Variety is running with this bullshit clickbait thing where the Infinity War is no longer a 2-parter. If you remember, if you follow these movies, it was originally Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2, much in the same way it used to be Justice League Part 1 and Justice League Part 2. They both abandoned...
And not only that, but it's going to be one massive production that's going to take 9 months to shoot.
Yeah. So Variety, like I said, is doing this clickbait thing. It's bullshit. It's probably going to be Infinity War, and then the next one, which is exactly a year later, is going to be like Affinity Fallout, or who the fuck knows? It's going to have another title that's tied to it in a similar way. It's going to be, the Breaking Dawn, Deathly Hallows, name another movie franchise that they split the big one into 2, because you have to, because the story's so big, Hunger Games, that you need to make that money, Breaking Dawn, that it just has to happen that way so you can secure your money, and that you can make the big battle happen in the second one, people pay for that. Also of note here is that Captain Marvel, Brie Larson's film, is going to be released in between the 2. So it's almost guaranteed that she's going to be Infinity War Part 2, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't she?
I don't know. You don't have room for one woman in their
what
movies.
Do we like? Could Captain Marvel be a period piece? I mean,
no, it's
I don't know. We don't really know anything about it.
You saw Green Lantern, right?
Yeah.
Her story is pretty similar. She's a test pilot for the military. She gets cosmic powers, becomes a superhero.
Nice.
Not a period piece. Nothing.
All right. Yeah.
I doubt it.
No, just curious.
Yeah. No, I don't think Marvel will ever do another period piece. They don't have any other heroes that could do it. Like maybe like the Doctor Strange sequel when he like bends time and goes back there. Or who the fuck knows? I don't know. You know, as far as I know, I don't have that big of a knowledge base when it comes to Marvel. They don't have, at least in what MCU entails, they don't have any like time traveling warlocks or anything like that's in X-Men, I guess. I don't know. Cooler news though is that Kiersey Clemons of Dope fame, who played the girl with that everyone thought was a dude, is reuniting with the director to play Iris West in the new Flash movie. So you got the same director, you got the same female lead. Hopefully it's cool. I like that. The thing that's here is that they're making Iris West black. That was the thing that they started with the DC show on the CW. So I like that they're retaining that, trying to keep it kind of similar in a certain way. So I'll see about the rest of that. I'm sure more news is going to come out of that. You're going to like this one. Friend of the show, Joe Carnahan, is writing Sony's...
Friend of the show.
He is writing...
I mean, he's tweeted us back, and that's cool, but I don't know. I wouldn't say friend.
Hey, fuck you. Let me run with it.
If he's listening, then by all means, hit us back up.
Hey, so one of our listeners could try to refute that. Now you let them know it's not true. Anyway, he's currently writing Sony's Uncharted adaptation.
Sorry, I have a tweet framed from this guy, so I would love to believe that that's true. We should get an interview. I don't know,
Friend
something.
The show.
Ask for an exclusive.
I tweeted him. He didn't get back. Anyway, he's currently writing Sony's Uncharted adaptation before he starts directing Bad Boys 3. This movie has a checkered past, to say the least. It's been worked on by, David O. Russell.
With Mark Wahlberg starring in it, making something that sounded more like a sequel to The Fighter.
And Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Who else?
Had literally nothing to do with the fucking game.
Who else worked on it? It was like someone else who was a big name worked on it not too long ago. But they've had, I have to imagine...
Was Darren Aronofsky ever attached to it?
No. Okay. He doesn't have the sensibility for this kind of movie. But
no, he was going to do the Wolverine, that's right.
I think there's been like 5 drafts for this film. It had to... Oh, who was it? I can't remember right now. David Gordon Green. He was working on it for a while there. There's been multiple people that have been attached and dropped off. So I really hope that this isn't the next in that line. They kind of need to get this movie off the ground now. Uncharted 4 came out on May 10th. It's the end of the franchise, or at least so they say. So it's logical to get the movie out there as fast as possible so they can capitalize that before it kind of goes adrift. But Joe Carnahan said that he's interested in directing too. He just doesn't know if he can because he's shooting The Wheelman for Netflix. Then he's doing Bad Boys 3 when Will Smith is done filming Bright. So he has a lot on his calendar. He's got a lot to do. But it seems like he's really excited. He tweeted out, he was like, fans, don't worry. Like, I know what you're looking for. Like, this isn't going to suck. So I haven't watched enough of his work. Loved Grey, though. The Grey is awesome. Go listen to our episode of that. Go read the tweet that he tweeted us.
Well, and I think the man just needs to take a break from tweeting about Donald Trump.
Yeah, he does do that a lot, but he's not the only one.
Yeah, he does. It's always entertaining, but it's like, hey, man, come on, do something better with your time. Stop thinking about it.
Like
we'll be fine.
Adam McKay, Chris Miller, Phil Lord. It's like anyone you can think of. That tweets.
Giving Trump more publicity defeats the purpose.
Take that back.
That just makes him stronger. Stop doing it.
Just proof of how much of a good guy Guillermo del Toro is. I've never seen him talk bad about anyone on the internet. He hasn't been on Twitter long, perhaps, but almost everything he ever tweets is support for something.
He's a very positive guy.
Maybe like trying to tweet things to... A lot of the stuff is like talking about politics in Mexico and trying to get that known. But no, I've never seen him criticize anything. He probably doesn't. He's probably just always happy. I don't know. A couple other things here. Staying on video games for a second. Legendary Digital is working on adapting Square Enix's Life is Strange into a digital series. This is an episodic game about time travel and high school drama. The first installment is free on all major platforms, which includes like Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, PS3. I think it's even free on like Mac and Steam. But it's kind of like a Telltale game, just more mature. I haven't played it myself yet. I know I will soon, though. But this is cool. I mean, Legendary, they usually go for big or bust. You know, it's all the blockbusters and adaptations and tentpoles. And this is a little small thing based on a game that didn't get a lot of popularity. Cult following, people that are crazy about the game really are crazy about it. So this is going to be more of a spin-off, I think, than an actual straight-up adaptation. But I like the way they're going here, that they're going a digital route. Because I don't think... I mean, yeah, Legendary has like their VR content, but as far as I can recall, I don't know if they've ever done a digital-only thing like this.
I would not know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't have the biggest history with what they do. But I think it's interesting, especially because, you know, we talked, it was like 2 weeks ago about Battlefield becoming a TV show, and obviously Pokemon, the Detective Pikachu movie, and Uncharted right now, and how many movies are made from video games. But, you know, doing it digitally, I doubt this would be on YouTube, but going that route seems like a more logical step, since most people that do video gaming anyway are probably more interested in that kind of medium anyway.
I mean, it depends on the game too. I mean, like, or how... what's the scale of this game in comparison to the others that we're talking about? Well, like not Pokemon.
Not even close. This is literally, you're in high school, you're
like, I mean, you could do that on a smaller scale, right?
But no, yeah, this is total small scale. But this game is just like a Telltale game. It's like you don't actually play it. It's more interactive storytelling. It's like a TV show that you make decisions on. You decide what to say when. You get to talk to who at what time. There's a little puzzle that you have to solve to progress. And it's told episodically already. It's already in 5 episodes. And so they, you know, it's all part of the bigger story, but you pay as you go. You buy them as they're released. And so a digital series that mirrors that same kind of release calendar would be a great fit. Maybe they've already done a limited edition, but maybe they do like a Game of the Year edition that has that bundled in on the same disc. Who knows? Just spitballing. Last, yeah. This is more of a, yeah, sure, it's a news item. It's for you and me more so than our listeners. But Yoga Hosers has an official release date now. It's coming out September 2nd, and right before then, as a Fathom event, they're going to be hosting a screening on August 30th. It's going to come with behind-the-scenes footage, deleted scenes, and even a Q&A from the Red Bank premiere. So it seems like the primo experience for any VOSQ Universe heads out there, or Fat Man and Batman fans, right? If you suck the guy 37 times, you're probably going to pay for this. I have a feeling like I'm going to go do the Fathom event just because I don't know if I'd like the movie by itself. Fathom events are kind of pricey, but at least
I would stay for the Q&A.
Exactly. Yeah. At least I'll get the Q&A, and his Q&As are worth $15 minimum.
Who's the distributor on this? Is it A24?
Because
A24 put out Tusk, and it was around the same time.
I want to say it is
that year.
Because I think it might be A24, and then A24 doesn't have Moose Jaws. It's like they have 2 of them. Let me see. Yoga Hosers distributor.
I mean, because, there's no A24 logo on the trailer or anything. I haven't even seen much on that. Like, I think I saw the trailer only once, but
I don't think there's any kind of signage on there.
Yeah, well, I wonder. It's not like it's going to be big or anything, and he's not. The only promotion I think it's really going to get is really just through Kevin Smith himself.
It's Invincible Pictures, who I don't know who that is, but XYZ worked on it. Yeah, it seems super small. Let me see. I'm on their IMDb right now. See if there's anything on here that I've heard of. No, lots of stuff that you've never heard of. So yeah, I think A24 has Moose Jaws instead. Then they might have passed on this one, but yeah, they definitely did Tusk. Yeah, I'm looking at their filmography. They all got shit, but whatever. We all know that this movie's not good anyway, so I'll watch it.
It'll be interesting.
It should be interesting. I think it'd be a really fun one to watch with a crowd. So hopefully, when I go see it at the Fathom event, because I know I will, there's going to be people there.
I think as long as there's beer at my screening, then I'll watch it.
Final cool item here, and this is really timely because it goes live in a couple hours. But Viacom has rebranded VH1 Classic as MTV Classic. It's going to go into effect tomorrow, August 1st, and it's going to begin with an hour.
It's actually today, but
for you, yeah. But it's
August 1st for me. Yeah.
It's going to begin with an hour of strictly music, which coincides with the 35-year anniversary to the hour of when MTV launched originally. And this channel is going to focus on music from the 90s and 2000s, re-syndicated content including like The Real World, Daria, Clone High, a lot of stuff. There's going to be like
basically everything that the Gen Xers love.
Yeah, TRL retrospectives, as well as like still retain the concerts and movies that made VH1 Classic iconic in the first place. So like MTV Unplugged and stuff. But yeah, this is their you miss music, you miss our good content before we did Jersey Shore. You can get back into this. I hope they like.
Wasn't Jersey Shore dead now?
I got no clue, but I really hope that they replay like their old stuff, so you can see like Pauly Shore being a VJ, and things like that, because they have a really interesting past at MTV, and it all kind of died over the last 10 years or so. I might tune in though, just out of curiosity to see what they play.
You got access to it, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the first song that's going to happen is like "Video Killed the Radio Star," and then. Who knows? Probably shit. I'd be okay with Limp Bizkit and like Britney Spears, like to be honest. This is the stupid shit section. It's at the end of the show because if you listen this long, at least you should be entertained. The first stupid / shit item here. This is more stupid than shitty. RedTube just announced that it's planning to publish a magazine. Yes, the porn website that kind of put Playboy out of business has just decided that they're going to start publishing pornographic material. Who's going to fucking buy this?
Like a paper magazine or a digital magazine?
Yes, a published paper magazine. Who would buy this when the content is free on their website? And it's in video form.
It's probably just a fuck you to Playboy.
I don't know. It's stupid. Like this,
if they can afford it.
This is just as stupid as Amazon opening physical bookstores. It's like, Amazon put Borders out of business. They closed bookstores, and now as a big fuck you, they started opening bookstores.
I know it's stupid. I'm just trying to think of a possible reason. Maybe I like that if that's just meant to be a fuck you to Playboy, but
perhaps.
Yeah, no, it's stupid.
It's super stupid. Like I said, this is a stupid shit. Even worse. You know that carpool karaoke segment on Late Show with Bill Corden or whatever? Michelle Obama was on it recently. Adele was on it. Justin Bieber. You do carpool you do karaoke in the car, hence it's carpool karaoke. So yeah, CBS just sold the rights to that spinoff show, and it's landed at Apple Music. It's going to consist of a new host and 16 episodes for their Apple Music subscribers. What?
Cool.
No, they went from Planet of the Apps and that Dr. Dre scripted show to this.
Yeah, I know. It's another thing that just sounds like it doesn't appeal to me at all, but I can believe that would appeal to somebody.
It's going to appeal to a lot of people.
As stupid as it is, I can, yeah.
But I highly doubt that they're going to get the celebrity status that they currently get on the show to begin with. And also, a host for these kind of things is what really sells it. And when you throw into that also the fact that Craig Robinson is hosting a Spike TV show of basically the same exact concept, why would you go, ooh, Apple Music? What do you get for being a subscriber? Carpool karaoke and music without ads. It's like, sign me up. Where can I sign on the dotted line?
It sounds like they're going to die just like Yahoo Screen did.
Maybe. I'm still waiting for them to make their own movies. The final thing here, and this is the stupidest, shittiest, what the fuckiest moment ever this week. Stephen Colbert, as you know, he has that CBS talk show now.
Is this the word?
Yeah. So
I figured, yeah.
Because of the conventions, DNC just happened, the RNC just happened. He just had Jon Stewart on the show. He decided to bring the Colbert Report character back to the show. You already kind of know this, it sounds like it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, and Comedy Central didn't go for this. They actually lawyered up and sent us cease and desist to CBS. The real news item here, Viacom owns Comedy Central and CBS. So one of the sister companies told the other sister, don't do that. We own the rights to that character. We own the rights to the real, literal name of the host of your literal named show. So
it's a sibling rivalry. That's amazing.
So fucking stupid. They don't even have the Colbert Report on Comedy Central anymore. But I guess they own the intellectual property. And so you already brought up the word. You already know how he got around this. Stephen Colbert, he skated around the issue by introducing a new correspondent, his twin cousin, and even did a new segment called The Word with it spelled W-E-R-D. How stupid can Viacom be? We have that Axanar fan film shit. We got MTV Classic coming out. Do they really not know their fan base? Do they not know that most people that watch the Late Show with Stephen Colbert watch the Colbert Report? Why would you try to sue them over something that you wouldn't even get money for? Your parent would get money for, and your parent owns them anyway.
Yeah, there's a reason this is called stupid. I can't think of anything.
This is the stupid shit section. This is why this could have been at the top of the show for stupidity reasons, but it literally dumbfounded me when I read this because I was going, it was before the article spelled it out. I was like, wait, isn't CBS owned by Viacom? This is almost as dumb as if Johnny Knoxville started hosting a show on CBS and MTV tried to sue him for using jackass stunts on air.
Seriously,
it's beyond stupid.
It's. I am really not surprised by so much stupid shit that happens in entertainment.
I am surprised because, in the same week,
stupidity just phases me now to the point where I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever.
In the same week where Yahoo's worth almost $5 billion, that this shit happened. It's like, wow. What's worse?
The world does not make any sense, Brian.
It does on this show. It makes 2 cents. Cha-ching. Thanks for listening.
Okay, fine. That's not the word I used, but sure. You can go with that.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, we are in the stupid section, so you are,
Well, that's all I got.
I'm not even finishing that sentence. That's stupid.
That's the whole show. That's all we got. Thanks for listening. We hope to hear you around, or hope you hear us around next week. Try not to title it beforehand that time, but maybe, who knows. So you can find us on Twitter, Facebook. You can tweet us at Dollar Reviews. Send us an email, brian@dollarreviews.net. Go to our website, dollarreviews.net.
And I'm at steve@dollarreviews.net.
There you go.
I use the email. I check it every week before we record.
I don't, because there's no reason to check it.
I wish I had email from there. I would love to get email, but I have not gotten any email.
Just start making that your default email. Next time someone asks for email, give them that.
Yeah, but then it's not going to be related to the show.
So I still get excited.
Yeah.